council president. It's my understanding at the start of every new term, we have a council president, and that person is the person that fills in for the mayor when he or she is out, taking over, signing, and running meetings. It's per the charter. It is to be decided upon by the board, by the members of the council.
So we make nominations?
How has it been done in the past? Because it's not very clear in here.
It's been nominations.
I think it was nominations.
Okay.
I was council president previously, and I'm willing to do it again, or if somebody else would like to, I don't need to be.
I guess it comes down to availability of schedules.
Yeah, I would like to be.
Okay?
You're open to that. So I would nominate myself, I guess.
I don't want to do it.
All right, 2 down, 2 to go.
Yeah.
Well,
I would nominate Steve.
You would back that nomination?
my only question would be, how often are you out of town?
This year, I've got a trip out of country and scouts where I'm still in the state. 1
Okay.
week, but that's it. Every other time I'm working from home around.
Okay,
But I know when those are easy to predict.
okay. Yeah, I don't have a problem with it.
I have a nomination and a second to have Steve Dogiakos become the
Council president.
president of the council. Any comments, questions, public? Any discussion amongst the council?
Do you make a motion on that?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Steve D will be our
Congratulations,
president,
Mr. President.
president of the council. Can't wait to see the business cards. Oh, look,
I was just
he's
looking
already-
on yours. Thanks.
Oh,
Right
okay.
now, I'd need like a business index card.
Yes. In front of you are the minutes from the meeting of December 3rd. Have you all had time to take a chance to review through those?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are there any changes or corrections we need to worry about?
No.
I move we approve the
I
minutes.
do have one
Oh, did you have
question.
one?
Yep. On the signatory for the minutes, it lists.
Oh, it
previous
does?
Mayor.
Because he was the mayor at that.
At that point in
Yeah,
time.
okay.
December 30th.
I asked that question earlier, so feel
Okay.
bad.
And I have no other objections.
I move we approve the minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. That was Mark and me. Judy.
Yeah,
Okay.
they just gotta get the deed.
Yeah,
Any request to be out of state at this time?
yes.
At what point in
I will be
time?
gone from the 19th until the 31st, excuse me,
119
correct?
to 130?
Yes.
1 or 130?
131.
131.
How far in advance notice do you need?
That was my
Just
next question.
before the next
Before
meeting.
Yeah, before the next meeting.
Yep.
Before the
I'm
meeting,
good.
It does,
February 4th.
exactly.
Okay.
And
No.
it would,
No.
no, we'll have one on.
January 21st.
Yeah. It is worth noting that even if you're going to be out of the state, not during a meeting, you have to make that known.
Yeah, because if something comes up and we need to schedule an emergency meeting or get a hold of you, we need to know where to do that.
But you only need to notify if it's before the next meeting, though.
Correct.
Yeah, because I know in April I'm going to be gone for some days.
It's also nice to know if somebody's just out of town
Or I would say,
or out of state.
Yeah.
well, with cell phones anymore, it's less of an issue than it used to be.
Right,
Right.
true story.
And I check in with Tom and Jody on a regular basis, let them know where I'm at. Like the rest of the week I'm here. I did my 500 and some miles yesterday, so I would hope that I'm back for the rest of the week. Is there any unfinished business that we have to?
I move that we allow Steve to leave the state.
Second.
That would mark.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I will get this in order, people. I promise you, my ducks will be there.
Hey, it's your first one.
Any unfinished business before the council?
I don't think so.
As we move on to new business, we have to take care of the resolution for the signatures on the bank.
I move adoption of resolution 848.
Second.
Any discussion? It just allows the change of the signatories from Dan Lennon
And me.
and Stewart to myself and Steve D in the event the city needs.
Do our checks require 2 signatories?
Yes.
So you two
It's-
are the only signers?
No.
Jody and Tom.
No,
And
Mike.
you two. Okay.
Not
yeah.
Tom, you're not?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Mike.
Mike.
Right.
There's-
My bad.
Okay. I have no other questions.
Call the question.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Can you give that to Stewart, please?
Yes, I can. The next item on the agenda here is kind of put on there by my request about roles and responsibilities. We are a charter form of government, and I suggest to have anybody read through the charter. It's not a long document. It's only about 7 pages. Basically, I see my role, and I'm asking this, the council correct me. We don't have a parliamentarian here, who's technically our city attorney would be our parliamentarian. My role is to run the meeting, relay the city happenings to the council, things along those lines. If I'm to go out and represent the city anywhere, it has to be at the bequest of the city council. I'm not able to go out and write letters in support against, represent the city in any way, shape, or form outside this realm of this thing without the permission of the city council. And knowing that, I'm going to ask some dumb questions along the way. But I would rather ask the questions and have the council and those in attendance and those watching be aware of what's going on. And so we're not crossing any boundaries about there. I would like to do a mayor's minute for the newspaper that would be published in between the city council meetings.
So twice a month?
Yes,
On 2nd and 4th?
if that's willing with the press.
We can probably negotiate something.
Okay.
What would your mayor's minute entail?
Basically, nothing that would be to be addressed going forward, what we've addressed in the past, what has been brought to the people about, or brought up that maybe we need to look at something like this. I will put forth a simple template to you guys by email here that you can look at. And we can decide at a later time if we wanted, if that's something we should do or not. My goal is the more the people are aware of what's going on, the more involved we are, the better off we all are.
So it'd be more like an update on stuff that we had talked about in
Yes.
previous city council meetings.
Yes.
I like all of those words.
And then
Appreciate the
the next meeting will be this date. And the agenda for that meeting will be posted by Friday of,
Whenever.
yes. It's not that Melody doesn't cover it in her stories, but it'd be a condensed version. So,
I think more transparency is better.
Yeah.
and I'll get one together and have Jody get it out to global email, which we don't necessarily have, but I'll get it to you all by email. So you can take a look at what I'm thinking about, what it would boil down to.
Well, and I also want to say, Chris, when we had the flooding last month, there was discussion going on, and that was really good. You know, we got on it. We talked about problems, and
We found problem areas we didn't know we had.
yeah, we found problem areas we didn't know we had. We looked at what had been done and what could be done, and what to tell people. And so when people had questions, the city was already on the same page about what was being done, you know, what we knew about what was causing the problem, et cetera.
As council members, newbie, any questions, concerns about your roles and responsibilities?
I'm sure.
You want this?
I'll read that, yep.
It's a good thing to put you to bed at night.
Yeah.
And basically what it boils down to is the mayor is the executive branch and you guys are the legislative branch. The city attorney falls under the executive branch.
She's under the executive, or is she our judiciary?
She's under the executive
really?
branch. She's not the judiciary branch.
Actually, we sometimes serve as judicial.
Yes, the council
We make
more often than not may be
That's
the
true.
judicial
That's
branch.
true.
But for that intents purposes of our charter, we do not have a judicial branch per se.
It's been 10 years since everything.
So,
No,
anything else on that one, you guys?
it's good.
Okay. It is the first of the year as well, and so there are some board appointments we need to look at and talk about. In your packet, you will see a list of those who are these current board members?
Some are.
All but
John?
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually,
And
He's
he's,
been on the tree and sidewalk board previously, hadn't he?
no, but he is actually still a licensed arborist.
That'll be good.
these people all have expressed an interest to the board, to the city, I should say. And Leona Haida Cooper on the Board of Adjustments, you have 3 positions, which are Leona Haida Cooper, Matt McCarthy, and Chuck Klavick. And Leona's been on it since, yeah,
Probably since she retired or left being clerk, right?
yeah.
So 14 years? Yeah.
13.
And there are no issues with people serving on multiple boards? Okay. Tree and Sidewalk Board, Danny Arps, Corley Martin, and John Long. The Teton County Airport Board, and that's Chuck Klavick. We still have a say in that?
Mm-hmm.
How many people are on that board, do you know?
I think 5.
Yeah,
We have
it's
one
5.
state, 5.
And the county has 4?
No.
The county has 2, Fairfield has 1, Dutton has 1,
And Shoto
and
has.
Choteau has 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
Still not the same one for
City-
clarification.
Joint city county.
The airport
Airport
board.
Board.
Okay.
And then same question with the revolving loan fund, is that multiple people or just 2?
Just 2 this year.
There's
What is that
5.
board made up of? So there's 5?
It's
So this is only.
It's
2
Lyle and
positions that need to
Paula.
be refilled. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We're good.
right this year. It's Lyle and
Lyle
Paula.
and
Yes.
Paula,
I would move adoption of the mayor's recommendations to appoint you to it.
I'd second.
Any discussion from the board or from the public?
I do have a question, Chris. You asked about people serving
On
on
2
multiple boards. Is that because Chuck Levac is
Yeah.
on? Okay. And he's on the airport board and the board of adjustment. Yeah, I don't see it.
I just was trying to hook him back to an airplane.
Just hook him to skis.
He has
Oh,
2.
God.
Does he?
Mhm.
Well, there you go.
Call the question.
I would like, we have a motion and a second to approve the following people as listed for the boards. Those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. And Jody, you'll notify them with glitter and unicorns? Okay,
Go and scroll.
yes. The next meat and potatoes item on the agenda is discussion of garbage rates. This was something that was brought up in the last administration that never got settled out, but we need to do something in looking, in 7 days of being in this office, I've learned quite a bit. Most of it, I shake my head, but I have learned quite a bit. We need to do something with our garbage rates and we need to do them
Now,
post haste, yes. The last time these were done was October 17th of 2006.
mhm.
So what are the 3 pieces of paper I'm looking at? Because I see current rate, new rate, 3 times, 3 different
The
numbers.
last page is the one that has,
2006.
how,
They
here's,
all do, all have 2006, they're just different numbers, they're just different numbers, you guys can look at them and see.
Well, so can you tell me where it is now? I see, so,
857.
so that's the first page of the 3.
And 857 is the big, yeah, and
95 gallon.
Do you have a proposal, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, there should be one in the packet.
The
Is that the
highlights didn't
one,
come
is
through
that the
on
one
ours.
to
There's
1057?
multiple proposals.
No, this
That's the
one,
middle page.
is yours the middle page? Mine's the last page.
Yeah, it's this one.
so the highlights
Yes,
didn't
there
come
you
through
go.
on the
I got
council
it.
packet.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Later.
So what are the prices that you're recommending?
The 95 gallon container would go from $857 a month to $11 a month. The 65 gallon container would go from $643 a month to $9 a month. The commercial use would go from $857 an ERU, and the ERU stands for an equivalent residential unit, to $11 in ERU.
And we can graduate that out over,
Or is that a change of?
it has to be
No.
immediately because we have to do the public hearings.
Yep.
And then we
This
change
is
it.
just the very beginning.
The very beginning.
Okay.
Mailings and postings and public hearing and
Walk us, if you would, walk us
Yep.
through your thinking on it. why 11? Why not 10? Why not 12? I mean,
If we were, our current revenues right now are about 123,466 a year at 857. It's costing us, if I'm reading this right, including replacement and depreciation, it's going to cost us about 155,666, 155,668. So we're going to come up short.
are those numbers accurate?
Mhm.
I hope so. She gave them to me.
So there's a $34,000 gap.
Yes.
And there's budget in there, and that budget, there's always a little bit of.
Well, and he mentioned it was replacement, it was maintenance, it was all.
Yeah.
Replacement, depreciation, the truck is no longer under warranty.
And it's been having issues, right? Like, that's what Mike is,
But,
yeah.
The older truck is having the more of the issues, the one we used to pick up the,
So if we're talking $2.43 more per 95-gallon container, and the same, whatever the equation is for a 65-gallon container, that difference is roughly 34,000? Or is it 40,000, or do we know what it is?
It's it would be, what you're collecting right now is $10,288.89 in a perfect world a month. And we would go up to $13,320.87, and what we need to function is $12,972.
Yep.
So this would actually give us a buffer, so we could, and then we could bank that money for truck repairs, for,
But
Containers
it's not
for-
really banking it. It
right.
just makes us break even.
Yep.
a little
Right.
bit, yeah. It goes to cost for the next year.
What
We
if-
have
well,
a
and-
reserve, we're not gonna have a reserve anymore. We don't do something.
we talked I don't know that we talked about it in our budget meeting this year, but I know we talked extensively last year about raising the garbage rates, and we didn't end up doing it.
We did this year, extensively. It was this year.
Was it this year?
It was in like July or August.
Okay,
We just haven't got.
that was a long time ago. We've had winter since then.
Mhm.
What is the year of our newest garbage truck? I guess Mike's not
2000 no, I was on the council when we got it, so 10, I think. I think it's 10 years old.
5 years, so we're, no. It's close to that. I don't remember exactly.
That's fine. I can catch Mike about it. I'm just,
I think Market just turned 10, which is why it's no longer under warranty.
and we shake out, and with these rates here, we shake out pretty close to what communities of our size are in and around.
and I think we saw that at one point, what Conrad's charging, what Shelby's charging, what company's charging.
Cut Bank's an outlier.
So Jody, from here, Mr. Mayor, maybe
Mhm.
someone, what's the process now?
The process, what's that?
That was my question. as
The
well.
process would be for you guys to put forth the intent to raise the rates,
Mhm.
at which time we would post on the 15th.
So would that be a motion to hold
Yes,
hearing? Is that what
It would be a motion, yeah, yes,
Move forward.
to move forward.
Yep.
We would,
Because we don't actually vote on the garbage rates. Go
until
ahead. I'm sorry,
no, you're
Chris,
good.
go
No,
ahead.
we wouldn't vote on, we have to go through the proper steps as set out by code. We'd have to post it, we have to mail it,
Okay,
we have to have the hearing on it, and then we have to go through public comment and then we move forward. So best case scenario, if you made a motion to move forward with the intent today, we could post 15, 22, and 29 of January, have the hearing on February 4th, and then
Or 18th.
on the February 18th meeting, we could adopt it.
No, you do it on the same.
We could do it, okay.
We don't have to have.
We could adopt it in February and have it for February's billing.
I would move that we proceed with the process.
I'll second it.
And
Another question.
that's what I was just asking.
So have we agreed on the $11 a month rate yet, or we're just agreeing to?
agreeing to have a
agree-
conversation about it. it sounds
Yes.
like.
Yeah,
So
Yes.
my question is $11 a month now good enough for a while? Or are we gonna have to do this again in a year?
That was my question too. And in looking at the math, we should be all right.
Jody, when was the last time we raised rates?
2006.
Yeah.
So
So
15 years roughly.
if we do it now, how long
14 years.
do you believe, all things remaining, get your magic ball out, how long do you think that
Perfect
would?
world, 5 years, I don't know.
Well, it depends on the legislature and the governor.
But probably
I mean, if-
not 14 years like the last one.
No.
It depends on how many things break.
Yeah,
Well, and it depends on the cost of us getting rid of our garbage.
That plays into it, and if we can't recycle anymore, we're gonna have more garbage to deal with. If we can't deal with our leaves and our grass, we're gonna have more garbage to get rid of.
And so without giving me like hard and fast numbers, you said Cut Bank was an outlier. Shelby, Conrad, Fairfield, do we have any idea where they're at?
She does.
And it can come up in the public hearings, Jody, so don't worry about it right now.
Cut Bank is
They're all higher, other than Cut Bank, who only pays $6.
$6.
Can't tell you why.
Wind blows most of it away.
Browning pays 18.
Yeah,
Shelby's $14.50 plus $14.59 fill fee.
Is that's a once a year landfill fill fee?
it's a
No,
month.
monthly.
oh, it's a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not clear.
So those will come up in the hearings, but if you would have those numbers,
Fairfield's about 14, I don't remember, it's sitting on my desk.
and that's fine, but if you'd have those numbers ready for the hearing, I think I'd want, that to
Con-
me would be,
Conrad's about $1 higher than what we're gonna be, right?
No, Conrad is going to raise their rates too, so
Oh, okay.
they're about where we are right now.
gotcha. Same boat.
The other thing that I think as we go through this, we have to decide if we want to maintain multiple size garbage containers for the residential.
The majority of them are 95.
Yeah,
There's just.
and I would venture to guess
So
the
the
best
average household's going up $3 a month.
243.
Well, but I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
some households have two, some have one. I would say
Yeah.
average would probably be about $3.
Which is $36 a year.
Chris, part of the history of having this smaller garbage can was the large number of elderly
Oh, I get it.
people that we have who just
Don't generate that.
came in and testified during that process. We just don't generate that volume of garbage, and we don't want to be penalized for that. So at that point, the council, and at that point, we had a garbage task force.
Sweet.
Dates back to Dan Clark's time as mayor.
Average SWAT team.
That was one of the big
A garbage
things,
task force.
that they looked at.
Because that's when the change was made, was when Dan was mayor.
We redesigned the entire rate system and we went to standardized garbage
Gotcha.
cans. Before that, everyone
It was
had
just
their
a
own garbage
whatever.
can. And your charge was based on how many times a week that garbage can was picked up. But the Northern Montana Joint Refuse Disposal District charges us landfill fees based on the volume of garbage
Mhm.
we send to that landfill. So we need to be able to quantify that.
Gotcha.
And we couldn't quantify it really unless we went to a system where we had standardized
Yeah.
Garbage cans.
containers.
And that makes
And I
sense.
think we have the Montana Rural Water System people can come in and help us with that. They also do other things than just water.
He was here today.
At that original change, they had the 65 and the 95 gallons.
Yes,
Because I know when we replaced them recently, we did replace some 65s.
Mm-hmm.
so, I mean, Dan obviously has been mayor for a long time.
Yeah.
So that's where it dates back to.
Okay. Any additional questions, comments? Those in favor of moving forward?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Hearing none, we'll get it moved forward, and Jody, you'll start that process to get her to mail and get her posted for the 5th. We have to mail out, correct? Okay. Item 5, discuss the 7th Avenue traffic flows. So let's talk about, I asked to have this put on there, about the traffic in front of the school. I know we've had issues with Google Maps and some of the other things pushing tourists down 7th around Main Street and missing our business district.
Well, and just causing problems in front of the school.
And didn't we get that changed with Google?
No.
Yes, and then it reverted, and then Apple Maps doesn't have it sometimes, but then sometimes it does, and it's just
Well, and what,
not anymore. Yeah.
when I talked to Google, what they told me is the only way to for sure get it changed is either make it a one-way, which they will still route traffic that way, or block it.
Mhm.
So if it's a blocked street, then we can tell Google it's no longer a through street
And they have to.
and they can't direct traffic down that.
We can tell it's not a block street.
Till the Google car shows up. So this was another thing that I brought up about how could you relieve the traffic flow, especially in front of the school. the options that were floated out there were to be block it off, block 7th off right here. This end,
Right across from that green space, right? The Baptist church owns?
yeah.
Yep.
So you could come down 7th, drop your kids off there, come back up by the side of the school and exit out, or vice versa. And that would be blocking, that's just one blockade on the street right there. We would in turn have to go back to the other end of 7th, down by where it comes off of Main, and put no through street signs there and such. It would allow the school buses that come into town from the north to still remain on 7th.
And then they would go out by the Baptist church.
They would go out right down here.
So it'd be blocked off right here.
On the north
No,
side. of
keep going this, down here on the elementary end.
Okay. It'd be blocked off right here.
Nope, keep coming. Next block, across from Sealander's office.
Oh, right there.
Oh,
keep coming.
got it.
Right there.
Right here.
No, we gotta go, we want it here. So that people can come in, drop the kids off, go out, or come this way, drop the kids off and go out.
But it would be blocked right there.
So you'd block it after, or between First and Division.
Right here,
Yeah, between First and Division.
right there.
Yep. Okay.
So it would just be a 90. And truly, if people wanted to bisect or, go by town, they're gonna go over blocks and work their way around it. We could do that. And these are things that I wanted to ask you guys, if we could go talk to this, if someone could go talk to the school board and see what the school board want to do. And then if you could get some momentum behind it, we would take it out to the public and see what they want to do. I know that a lot of people say that the worst offenders on 7th Street are our local people. Our other options of slowing people down are to put stop signs at every intersection.
Because then at least we can write people more tickets.
No, it's just, they'd have to stop there, they'd have to stop, because currently now it's a yield sign as you come up here.
Mhm.
That would be a stop sign. You'd have a stop sign within 50 feet of a stop sign. And then you'd have another stop sign, and all intersections into 7th would be stops. All directional stops. It would be less, it'd be more signs to maintain, more traffic headaches, I would imagine, but stops, but it would leave 7th Street open for through traffic. Even the 15-mile-an-hour speed limit rarely slows people down unless there are children visible. You could, if you wanted to, block it off at both ends of the school, down by where the road, down by where the 5-way is, so that they still have access to the hospital and things along those lines. You could still go past and come into the parking lot on that north side.
When I think, who's in charge of Teton County EMT now? Is that Deborah Harris?
Deb Coverdale.
Deb Coverdale? Okay.
But we would not impede inflow and access out of the,
I just think she should be part of the discussion. And
yeah.
maybe we need to get the actual ambulance drivers.
yes, Mr. Ed.
What kind of blockages are you talking? Are you talking about putting bollards in where the car can go through it
Nope.
and the truck can't? You're talking a complete block?
Yep,
Like a curb.
whether it be a curb,
Or
A tree.
pylons.
I put a sign up and say, not a through street, period.
doesn't matter, they still go.
But I mean, if the sign is in the middle of the street,
Oh, yeah,
it's blocked off on either side. You're not gonna allow any
No.
movement through that end.
no.
Put a big fence up.
And I don't know what the school would say. What would the fire department say? They're coming from the north most of the time.
As far as
They'll know how to
the
get there.
fire department and EMS,
Yes, because he wears both hats.
Oh, you do wear both hats.
we are not allowed to speed, period, through school zone.
No, I don't worry about that. I'm not worried about the
24/7.
speed.
I mean, so access, I'm
I'm not-
saying it's faster to drive around it right now.
Mhm.
When I get a fire
Oh,
call
I
or an
don't-
EMS call on a Bellevue Road, I run down Main
Just-
Street. Or I run down the back road over here. I do not come by the school.
Do you go down the back side of the school, Steve, with an
The tennis
EMS
courts?
call, if you're heading south?
Yeah, you got 2 blocks there, same thing.
Yep.
Still 15 miles.
No speeding, but
Yeah.
It's either 2 blocks there or
Yeah,
4 blocks the other
yeah.
way. Yeah.
it's quite a bit more
Yeah,
here.
so
Plus
yes.
the speed bumps.
Okay. Yes, Ed. You had another question?
No, I just said that answered that question.
Yeah.
No, it's faster to drive around a school zone
Mhm.
than to drive through it.
I want the buses to have is, easy access in and out.
Are you putting another roadblock, just the one here? There's the one on the north?
No, you could, if you wanted to, you could, and then make them come in the other way and just have this whole area blocked off. So you'd have to come in this way and back out this way. To me, the most effective way would be right there.
So I mean, there's still gonna be flow.
Yep.
Some, yeah.
I mean, you got the residents.
Coming from the south.
Most of the through traffic comes from south headed north.
Heading
Coming
north.
from Yellowstone going to Glacier.
Yeah.
Basically.
That's exactly.
So my question is, the school board meets next Tuesday night.
Yes, 7.
Would someone from the city, since I'm in Virginia City next Tuesday night, be willing to go? Or is it something we should go talk to the superintendent and the principal before we go to the school board? What would be the way to go about it?
I would
I'd go to Chuck first.
Yeah.
Yep. And we did a meeting before we did the speed bumps. Has that been 2 years already, Jody?
Seems like forever.
2 years ago, when we put the speed bumps in, we had a meeting with the sheriff, Mr. Gaiman, Gary Pasmore. Who else was in on that? I think EMS was in on that, weren't they?
I didn't go.
And Mayor Lannon or was it Jack at that time? It was Jack at that time. And then I think myself, or I know myself, I was there for. And we had talked about blocking off the streets, and where we had talked about blocking off, Gary was concerned about his bus that comes from the south. But I think where you're talking about blocking it off, because that bus usually goes around that Y and down a block and then comes in so that their door is there at the school
On the right-hand side
on
of
the
the road.
right-hand side.
On the school
So
side.
And I was told when they leave, they go out that way because they deliver kids up on that end of town before they go out through Bellevue. They deliver kids up by the Mormon church and that before they head back out that way.
when they pick up kids in the afternoon to leave.
Mhm.
Okay.
And when they come in, they actually come in that way, go up to the Mormon church, pick up kids that end, and then come back up this way.
Okay. I've only ever noticed that they go around the Y. I didn't know which way.
I was asking the coffee shop, I ran across one of the bus drivers and said, no, they come in the other way.
Okay.
The school buses don't egress that direction under normal circumstances.
Yeah.
So do I have permission to go see Mr. Gaiman? And
I would move to.
Well, we don't. I don't think we need to vote on. We just
Again-
need to say yeah.
Yeah,
Go.
I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
ask
I
him.
guess
What do you think,
another way to
Coach?
phrase it is, anyone here have an objection with him going and talking to them?
correct, if I go and put together a report to bring back to the next council meeting.
I think we need to start having the discussion.
We'll start with the school. If the school's on board, I'll go to the sheriff, EMS. We'll work our way through the system, get our public and go from there.
Sounds good.
We have some time before tourist season hits
A little bit.
and we'll go from there. Okay?
Especially if we keep getting fog.
Yeah.
They put Steve Rose on your list too.
Yeah. Next item, vote on approval of document destruction list. And Tom, I'm going to lean on you for a little bit on this one. These are documents which we've had in our possession that are no longer viable under state code that we have to keep and now have to be by code destroyed. Okay.
And we just do this every year as housekeeping. It's permission to get rid of it.
What is retention for most of these 5 years?
Mostly 5. Like everything I deal with on a day-to-day basis is 5 years.
Okay.
There are things that are definitely longer, but
Okay.
this for the most part is the normal 5-year stuff.
Gotcha.
You do every year.
that we do.
Why do we shred them?
Second.
Motion from Councilman Major and a second by Councilman Merja. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
The claims.
I move we pay them.
Second.
Questions, discussions, concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
I've never signed my name more than when I bought a house than I did today. Holy cow. We go to reports. Our city court is not here.
We're not there yet.
Mike was out for medical purposes.
He does have a report.
Oh,
It's right here.
Yep.
but it's just-
It's a standard report.
and I will, as we're talking about this report, I've learned that in the 7 days I've been here, I was under the assumption that it was just our exit water that was an issue, but I'm seeing our delivery system is as much of a problem, if not larger.
Have we, just Jody or Tom, maybe, do you guys know if, see if we have a couple more sewer repairs due to fiber optic installation? Do we know, is that the end of it? Do we? All right,
Things could
They-
pop up.
Yeah,
I
a
hope
lot
not.
of these are ones that have been, that they were actually done 2 months ago. So we're not at 2 months with this end of town, so. I don't know.
I do know that JKL is paying some of the,
that's good.
well, one I'm thinking of in specific where after the homeowner.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, well,
I can pretty much tell you they're not.
What if they did, but there's.
they said they were paying Clint's. Luigi, I have no idea, I haven't heard.
No,
not yet.
his is still a fight.
Yeah, with Clint's, they said they were gonna pay it.
Well, that's good.
In here, I was going to talk about recycling for a second. Recycling remains closed. We've met with Pacific Steel and Recycling, and they're trying to come up with a plan to take our recyclables. We have not heard back from them to date. And I don't know if we ever heard back from Steel, et cetera.
They just came and got all their stuff.
That's what I thought.
They still have that one container sitting over by the gravel pile. It's
Probably.
been
Yeah.
full for a month.
Someday if they're ever in the area, they approve.
I can't remember, while we're just on the, still on the Public Works report, can't remember if we've met since we had the flooding in the park and it's addressed here, I think, and I just want to compliment Mike on his responsiveness and we put together information surveys to try and track where issues were and where we can find easy relief points, and he did it, I mean, on a Sunday.
Late on a
Yeah,
Sunday.
late on a
Late on a
Sunday after I
Sunday.
called him, and I, just kudos to him for addressing that rapidly and making sure that homeowners and people in the town aren't getting flooded or minimizing flooding as much as we could, so.
Or if we're getting new flooding, we're finding out where it's at.
Right.
Finance officer,
There is in Conrad, and I kind of need to know if anybody's available, I need to let, or anyone wants to do this, there is a training for mayor and council, February 6th in Conrad from 6 to 9 in the evening. It'll be with Dan Clark. Conrad is setting this up, and I think Chris, if you had talked to Dan about it some too, there, Conrad kind of needs to know if Choteau's going to participate, we would get a $500 charge for Dan to come, and it would be split between all the communities. That's
do you have a
Thursday night.
nose count now as to who might? So if only two count,
And
can,
it just went out today.
okay.
For sure, I think Fairfield, Cuffbank,
Conrad.
Joey, Conrad, Choteau, if anybody's interested.
Dutton.
I know she sent out to the whole area.
I would, if anyone, I can't. be-
February what? Jody?
6th.
6th.
6 to
And I don't have a
9,
sports
Thursday.
calendar in front of me.
It's a Thursday.
If you can attend, I would strongly encourage you to do so. I won't be able to, but Dan does an amazing job, and you'll learn. Oh, you think you learned a lot in this week? Just spend a few hours with Dan.
Oh, yeah. I've been through this class with Dan. I'm going to be with Dan this weekend. Councilman Howard, in your hectic social schedule, can you work it into it?
I'll try.
Here's the kicker. We're going to have, will this be similar to what's going to come here in May?
But that's
It's not here, it's in Bozeman.
you, the
Oh,
mayor forum
is here.
in March.
Yeah, that's here. That's the mayor form. That's not. Okay.
There's a lot of online stuff, and there's a lot of, and there will be one more probably.
I know that looking at my schedule now, I know that I could make this.
The nice part is it's at night, so it's not
Mhm.
hard to, you don't have to take off work, anything else can be during the day.
Mm-hmm. Which is normally when they do those. So
Yeah.
This one
They're
being
trying not to.
That one we
this time.
went to, was it 2 years ago that Dan came and it was.
last year.
Yeah, that was
Julie
last-
was there and that was a really good one.
Yeah.
When would you need to know by, Jody?
I need to know if, all I need to know is if Choteau's committed, and I just need to let her know
I would hate to see him pay $250 if it's just Choteau and Conrad.
that. Oh, no, it will be more than that. I would just say Choteau's committed. That if it's only us, she'll
Okay.
let me know. I'll call her tomorrow.
All right,
If
I will-
Choteau's committed to
I will
going,
put it on my schedule right now. I will attend.
I could probably go.
And there'll be a town hall up there?
I'll let you know.
Okay.
I'm assuming Nordic Hall. But I don't.
Tree and sidewalk report, there is none. Zoning permit report, 2 for December. Lehigh Cooper with a fence replacement, and the city library for a sign.
So where's the library putting the sign?
On the front of the building.
Okay,
They're having the high school design a metal sign to attach to the front of the building.
cool. Now, is it gonna be perpendicular to the walls of the library? I like it.
To catch the wind.
Yeah.
Be a sail. Being new to this position, may I add a law enforcement report since we have a law enforcement engineer?
Austin used to do it, so
I'm not throwing you under the bus by any means. I just didn't know if you had any,
probably doesn't have.
any law enforcement stuff for the city you want to report to us?
Good report.
Thanks, Jonathan.
My guess is this is the last time Jonathan will be at a meeting. Without having a, planned report there.
Steve, I have to go to the meeting. Give me something.
At this stage, we will open the,
Actually, Mr. Mayor, I
Oh.
think, don't we typically do mayor and council reports?
Yep.
I didn't see that on
Number
here.
4.
Oh, I got you.
We usually do it at the
You usually kind of
end
do a
of that.
round robin.
Yep.
whichever.
Yeah.
I'll start this time.
By all means.
The only thing I wanted to bring up, and it was more a question for Mike, and I can visit with Mike, but I've been to Rose and Jesse Crawford several times, and there's water,
Weeping.
a lot of water, and it doesn't matter if it's cold, if it's warm, it's a lot of water.
On the hill.
Yeah, and I know the hill's got a number of issues, but that looks like more than just groundwater. And I know Mike's addressed, I'll bring it up with Mike, but I just wanted to point out, they've talked to me.
You're talking underground, like in
Well,
the
it comes
basement?
out right at their, do you know something, Steve?
Let's talk to hydrologist Howard.
What's the scoop?
It's ground/surface water, and they're being good citizens by not pumping it into the sewer.
Who's they?
Rose and Jesse.
Rose, yes?
But where it comes out is like in the middle of the ground, like they're not pumping it. It's not a pump from theirs or anything else. 'Cause I'm not
No.
sure.
Yeah, there's an underground pipe there.
From Rose and Jesse or from the neighbor?
Well, I thought it was from the neighbor, not.
I thought it was
Rose
from
and
the neighbor too, but it affects
But
their
it's-
driveway, and so
Yeah.
they sink up to the axles.
Jesse. But there's not a city storm sewer there. So the other option is pumping into the city sewer.
Because right now it
Because
just runs across the
it's
road.
being pumped out of the basement.
Yeah. And going into someone else's basement across.
So where is the
That's just where it's
nearest,
popping up.
Yeah.
Steve, where is the nearest storm sewer to that?
Down by the Mormon church on Brennan.
Spring Creek.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's kind of what I thought.
I have no idea where,
Passport's house.
as far as I know, there are no storm sewers up on that hill.
Yeah, we might have less
Storm-
water problems
storm
if there were.
drains.
Storm drains, yeah.
So they're built on a hill with no storm drains.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
on a hill that was weeping when they started building on it.
Yes.
And like I said, I can visit with Mike. I know he's aware of the problem. I know he's addressed it a few times. So I'll visit with him later. That's the only thing I had for a report.
It's not, I don't think it's the city mains or anything. There's actually
There's groundwater there. right?
groundwater there.
Yeah.
You could drill wells there. There's a vein that runs across that hill.
Yeah. Yep.
It ends. And it stays on top of the hill. It doesn't fall down into like KOA. It's right under the golf course coming down the hill.
Councilman Howard?
Yeah, I don't have any.
Mr. Merja?
I don't have anything at this time.
Steve D?
In addition to being president of the council, I was appointed or elected president of the chamber this afternoon. And would just encourage anyone who's interested in the communities, the business community of Choteau, to join the chamber, even if it's just as an individual. And frankly, if you want to be involved in Choteau, be involved in Choteau. There's Lions Club, there's Seroptimus, there's churches, there's lots of avenues to be involved in Choteau and support Choteau and help Choteau. And it's time to take advantage of it. It's a new year, new time to do it.
Kappa?
we're meeting tomorrow night, no, Thursday night,
Thursday night.
excuse me, that's a bit, thank you for reminding me. For a very important discussion, we're organizing a task force to address childcare in Choteau. We're bringing in folks from the state and from around the state, and we're gonna, we don't have the resources of Bozeman or Missoula or something like that, but we're looking to find a homegrown solution for Choteau and make sure that our people who want to work can work, and the people who need childcare can find it.
I think it's a good discussion.
So, and did you got connected with the young lady who was wondering if childcare was, okay.
Mhm.
And also just for everybody out there in Facebook, Kappa is Choteau Area Port Authority.
Yeah.
Just
I'm good.
Mr. Mayor?
I'm just, I'm checking with Councilman
Now
Mayhew.
your report.
Yeah.
It's only been 7 days.
It's
So
over.
you can say no report.
No, I just say, it's been interesting. I've done a lot, I mean, to go through and to talk to folks, to make some phone calls, to talk to folks from smaller communities, talk to folks from bigger communities. It's definitely like our shoving a watermelon through a garden hose and trying to figure this stuff out. And we will have a learning curve. There's no doubt about it. I will tell you that just because I'm not in that office doesn't mean I'm not here. My phone number is out there, 590-3031. If you need me, I can come down here. I'm working at trying to get us an email solution for us, where we all would have standardized email addresses so that we don't have Gmail accounts for everybody and things along those lines. We'll be working with the IT folks on that. If time and budget allows us at some point in time, I know the city of Fairfield bought Chromebooks for all of their council members and their mayor, have them set up with their emails accounts on them. So for delivery of stuff like that. And then when you move on, that Chromebook stays and all the data and all those emails that are in the system are there and they're on our server, not on somebody else's server. I struggle with having to come down here to read the emails because I don't have them on another device yet. I'm hoping to do that. I don't plan on being in this office on a day-to-day basis unless necessary. We have a very good crew, very good staff, and I think the best thing I can do is get out of their way until they ask me to come help them or have a question and concern that I need to get involved with. My office at the insurance office is open when I'm around too, to come out there and sit down, have a cup of coffee and chat. So
Are you in your north place?
we are in the north place, yes. As best we're going to be for the time being. We won't be putting signs up till spring because of the ground and that. I was stunned to find out that that didn't have fiber optics. Since it was out of town and the fiber line ran right in front of it, there's no fiber there.
Yeah, that fiber line goes to the canyon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had to, when we moved from town, we moved from our office in town out there, we had to lose a phone line because the phone lines out there couldn't support all of our data on our two phone lines. Every time the phone rang, it'd knock us off the internet. So I will gladly look forward to that. Yeah, I'm glad to look forward to that. So please know, my ultimate goal is to find a way to say yes to our citizens when something comes up that's within the scope and realm of what we can and should be doing. I don't want to say no. If it's within reason and it's something that we can do and it's going to benefit the community and the people of the community, I want to bend over backwards to try and see that that gets done. I would ask you guys to look at vision. What is your vision? Let's look at this in a 2-year deal. My term right now is 2 years to fill out the last 2 years of Mayor Canasser's term. What can we accomplish in those 2 years that we can hang our hats on and make ourselves proud of and our community proud of? So I'd be open for that at any time. Okay. Public comment. We will accept public comment on any public matter that is not on the agenda of this meeting and that is within the jurisdiction of our city council. Participants are requested to limit their comments to 5 minutes per person. And remember that we cannot discuss personnel issues, names, things along those issues. And it is a comment session, not a question and answer session. Yes, ma'am.
I just want to say thank you for making the garbage rate an even number.
That's not done yet.
But Diane, we had a conversation about that today, because there's some of them out there that are on 9s, 7s, 6s, an even number. I'm a dummy. Numbers don't lie. Give me an even number to work with. I agree. Thank you.
Well, that's why I've been paying $10 a month.
It's easier to
57.
balance a checkbook with zeros.
Oh, yeah.
Tammy won't let me have a checkbook, but I'm told that's how it works. Anyone else? Nate, Kelly?
Kelly Hirsch. Yeah, I'd like to address the groundwater issue. About 100 years ago, the city had to construct dewatering main lines to transfer the groundwater out from under the city. This was done so that the city could install sewer system that would allow houses to be built with basements. But now the old dewatering mains are broken and half full of gravel. You cannot transfer the groundwater the way they used to. This is why more and more of the basements are flooding. The old sewer system also allowed the groundwater to infiltrate and reduce the groundwater. But with all the new repairs to the collection system, it has also increased higher groundwater. This problem will continue until you can find a way to remove the groundwater. Maybe you could construct new dewatering mains, clean those old dewatering mains, or put in pump stations to pump out the groundwater. No matter what you do, it's going to cost a lot of money. Now I want to address the problems with the old lagoon, or as I call it, Choteau's own little Berkeley pit. I believe the city is in violation of the Clean Water Act, and here are the facts. The city failed attempt to remove the sludge out of the lagoon resulted in over digging and caused the groundwater to come into the lagoon. Now, when the city has excess of fluid, it has to bypass pump millions and millions of gallons of water or untreated effluent into the old lagoon, which mixes with the disturbed sludge water and groundwater and contaminates the groundwater that flows under the ground, downgrading, that will affect water quality for the nearby users. This is a great risk to the public health and safety. The city has misled the public by reporting to the local paper that lagoon bottom was not disturbed. This is not true, because the inflows and outflows do not match. And I also have the facts that the city reported to DEQ the lagoon bottom was disturbed. The way I see it, the city has 3 points of discharge and only 1 permit. The city needs to sample the water inside the lagoon and the groundwater outside of the lagoon. The city needs to make a plan to fix the problems with the old lagoon, which will protect the environment and water quality for the future. Finally, the state and federal officials to apply for required permits to excavate on state wetlands. Because of this neglect, the incompetence, it violated regulations, resulting in a huge burden to the taxpayers of thousands and thousands of dollars for more reclamation costs to reclaim the disturbed wetlands and dewatered acres of prime wildlife habitat. The reclamation costs will continue until the city can restore the wetlands back to the original condition. Remember, city staff employees that all state certified water and wastewater operators are bound by law to uphold the regulations of the Clean Water Act and report any known violations that will cause harm to public health, safety, and to protect the environment. These problems have gone on too long and need to be corrected. With the new administration, they can investigate. There should be disciplinary actions, follow the statements of the city personnel policy. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Hirsch, for the comments on that. And I appreciate the manner in which they were delivered, concise and to the point. Thank you very much.
I have a couple of comments.
Mr. White?
Good to see you again. Yeah, this is actually, following up on, or a lot of this is the same subject that Kelly's talking about. And, really, I do think it is important to have a comprehensive plan for the lagoon right now. It's a big issue out there. There has been a cover up. And, you know, who's culpable for the costs that the community has been burdened with? And in my opinion, DEQ and HCAM, you know, and it's costing us a lot of money. I've heard, you know, Steve say that, and I think
Please
Steve-
clarify which Steve.
Steve Howard.
Okay.
He has good insight in this, he has good knowledge base for this, and he said, you know, that this happened in the past and, you know, we're in the future, and I agree with that. However, I think we need to recoup some of our losses, frankly, and I think the Dow HCAM, and from my investigation, is undoubtedly responsible for this, and potentially DEQ. I've spoken with MEIC at length about this. I've spoken with some investigative journalists, I've spoken with media, and people are contacting me all the time. So it's already cost everyone a lot of money, and I think that we need to focus in on this and you know, recoup our losses for this. You know, in the opinion in the 1999 landmark decision, MEIC versus Montana DEQ, that was in the Supreme Court, and the opinion that was offered by Justice Truweiler, the Montana Supreme Court held that our Constitution does not require that dead fish float on the surface of our states, rivers, and streams before its far-sighted environmental protections can be invoked. So we have an issue, we have a problem. I feel like there's a lot of justification, but I really want to work with everybody to help get out in front of this. One other issue, I was just reviewing the growth policy, the city growth policy. And, you know, it talked, I mean, I'm not well prepared, okay?
No.
You know, I'm not well prepared at all, you know, and I'm just kind of.
I was reading the growth policy as well, so yeah, that's why I was talking.
You know, and man, just even the intent of it, on the planning for the growth policy, a lot of the decisions made were based on, you know, climate change. I mean, this is fake science. The climate change hoax is real, okay? Clearly, I'm concerned about the environment. I think we need to get back in this and take a look at that, you know, and see if that was really so reasonable. A lot of there's some real serious inconsistencies. Actually, just a quick look through this tonight, when I got to the sewer section, it says the wastewater facility plan recommends a 3-cell aerated system at the current location. And then the next sentence says the design for a mechanical plant is underway. I mean, that's not even cohesive. I mean, my guess is if I'm finding that right there, and then in the very beginning, they're talking about making, you know, decisions based upon fake science, fake climate change science. You know, we need to get back in this and take a look at it. So thanks a lot. I appreciate
Thank you, Mr. White.
Just point of order, Nate, a 3-cell aerated lagoon is a minimized mechanical plant. It still has mechanical parts that cause the aeration to happen in the lagoon.
Yeah, that's a really good point. That did come to mind. That's a really good point. Yeah.
Okay.
Anything else tonight?
Move to adjourn.
I have a motion to adjourn in a second, and we are under an hour. See you guys on
It
January
does not. It just stays on.
21.
21.
This